Hello everyone, welcome back to Sawyer Studios. I'm Nathan Sawyer, and today we are playing the High-Low Game. Now, what do I mean by high-low game? This is the first time I've ever done one of these takes. So pretty much I take the sets that are coming out this summer for Star Wars in 2021, and we give them a high mark and a low mark, meaning if they are what we could ever possibly imagine, like, they're just the best ever. This is like the set that I'm comparing it to that would be equally just as good. So like if the Bad Batch shuttle is the best set that it could ever be, this is the set I compare it to, versus the worst set it could ever be, I compare it to that other Star Wars Lego set. You'll understand once we get into it. Speaking of which, first up, the Bad Batch shuttle. So on the high end, I'd say the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest is the Mandalorian's personal ship, just like how this shuttle is going to be the personal ship of the Bad Batch. The Razor Crest came with amazing figures, phenomenal. If only the Mandalorian came in his Beskar armor then, but he didn't. But still came with the Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, and some really other good figs. That some were which exclusive. The Bad Batch shuttle could also have potentially really good, and hopefully all of them are exclusive figures. The Razor Crest doesn't just look good, it has a great interior, and I think the Bad Batch shuttle has huge potential, especially at a $100 price mark, to look good on the outside, but also to have a lot of really good detailed interior. Like, it's one of those sets that is rare, where it looks good and it has a lot of play features. I think the Bad Batch shuttle could be that. However, on the low side, we have the Imperial shuttle 2021. So this, was obviously downsized, had some okay figs. There were some noticeable gaps due to the piece shortage. So the Bad Batch shuttle, Lego could have upped the price because of the exclusive figs, and we're getting a heavily downsized, such as like the Knights of Ren transport ship. Maybe I should put that one in. But anyway, the Imperial shuttle just was, it resembled the shuttle, but it wasn't the best Lego could do, and I'm afraid a little bit that at the low end, the Bad Batch shuttle could very well be a downsized version that isn't the best of Lego's potential. Next is the UCS gunship. On the high end, I'd say it could be like the UCS A-Wing. The UCS A-Wing is just so well detailed, it looks great. Great display. It's above minifig scale, which I think the UCS gunship has to be above minifig scale to be worth the price mark that they're going to give it. I think it's $350, I believe, is the price mark. And so, if they're going to really give it that expensive price, then you're going to need to have it look good and be bigger than minifig scale, because we need a lot of pieces to make it feel like, yeah, this is worth the money. On the low end, however, I believe it could end up like the Episode 2 gunship from 2013. Not saying there's anything wrong with that set, but if we get the UCS gunship and it's the same size, it's like playable, I feel like there's going to be a lot of upset people because that's not going to be worth the price. And it's like, well, you're kind of just revamping the 2013 gunship and slapping on UCS on it. So Lego, do us well with this set. The Mandalorian fighter on the high end, I'd say the First Order TIE fighter, because the First Order TIE fighter, when that came out after The Force Awakens, that was a set that you could buy multiple of, and you were fine. You could build your First Order fleet. It was very well designed. The red and black decals were beautiful. Minifigs were great. Inside, the functions and the features were just spot on. This Mandalorian fighter could be a set that you want to buy 3 of. Because you just want to have a battle on Mandalore and recreate it. It can have all this great interior. The design of it could look sleek. And it wouldn't be a set that you just get for the minifigs, because the ship itself is worth it. Now, on the low end of the Mandalorian fighter, I'm looking at the 2021 X-Wing, because it could be one of those sets that you should want to buy multiple of, but you don't. Not because of the figs, because Gar Saxon and Bo-Katan, great figs, but it's because the ship itself isn't really that solid. It doesn't really look that good, even though, even if it has good functions. I don't want to have multiple of a set that doesn't look good. It has to be well displayed, but also with a pretty good amount of features to make me feel like the build isn't just a UCS display set, that it's actually a mixture of it looks good and it has a good amount of playable features that kids and even myself can play around with. Imperial Troop Transport. On the high end, I'm seeing the ATDP because the ATDP was a really good Rebel set. That walker was super accurate to the actual walker in the TV show. Like, it just looked so sleek. It looked Imperial. It just matched the cartoon perfectly and flawlessly. However, the low side of this, I think, would be the AAT that just came out. And because I've heard that the Imperial Troop Transport is going to be one of those weirdly proportioned vehicles that may or may not look the best, and it's really going to be a draw for the figs, like the Mortar Stormtrooper, rather than how good the set actually looks. You're going to have some proportions off. It's going to be look a little dinky. I'd compare that to the AAT. Moff Gideon's cruiser. I think the high end would be the 2014 Star Destroyer. That Star Destroyer had a great interior, had many rooms. The bridge looked amazing. The chamber for Darth Vader. And the outside looked flawless. I mean, those little turrets on the side could have been done better. I didn't like how LEGO used the cones for the guns, but it just looks so good. It was so well detailed, and the Moff Gideon cruiser has the same potential to look super well detailed on the outside, but on the inside have all these cool rooms and features and all these different scenes from the Mandalorian season finale that we can point to. Now, I think the low end of this set would be the Venator attack cruiser. It looked just derpy on the outside, and the interior honestly wasn't even that great. Yeah, Chancellor Palpatine's office in a Venator, that doesn't make sense. You had a gunner that went from back and forth, a bombing section, a really crappy bridge. So both interior and exterior looked derpy, and it didn't look at all what the actual set looked like. I'm afraid that LEGO might, on the low end of the Moff Gideon's cruiser, it could end up being something like that. The Mandalorian throne room. On the high end, I see the Duel on Mustafar, because that was a good set. Like, it looks well on display. There's a lot of moving parts in there. I think LEGO did a really good job, making a concept of how can we make a Duel on Mustafar super cheap, but also super worth getting. And that set, I think LEGO did it. It was a really nice, concise set for Anakin and Obi-Wan to duel around. Now, I think on the low end, I would probably say Duel on Starkiller Base. I was not a fan of that set. I didn't like the tree designs. It just was really small, and it was you were really just getting that set for Rey and Kylo Ren. You were getting that set for no other reason whatsoever. Slave 1. High 2021 TIE Fighter. That downsized TIE is actually really good. And I got it, and if you haven't seen my video on how to convert it, well, I guess I don't show you how, but I converted it from a TIE Fighter to a TIE Interceptor using just those pieces, which I think it turned out pretty well, so you should probably go check that out. Anyway, yeah, I really liked that downsized TIE. It was a really good quality product. It looked good, and the figures fit in perfectly. It was great. LEGO was really smart on how to use minimal pieces to make it still look like an actual legitimate TIE Fighter. Now, on the downside of the Slave 1, I think that the low of it could be the 2021 X-Wing. Not really good functionality, and doesn't really look the hottest if we're going to be honest with ourselves. So both downsides, there we are. And the final set on this list is the May the 4th set coming out, which is R2-D2. High UCS R2-D2. It has all the same features, the look of it, and the function, not the functionality, but the architecture. The design of it is upped a bit. Maybe there's not so much squareness to the head, to the dome part. Maybe LEGO's found some way to make that a little bit more smoother rather than the brick look that it was given. I'd say the low is also the UCS R2-D2 because I don't want a UCS R2-D2 for May the 4th, which it's gonna be that. So that's also a low because I don't want one. That's my high and low game for the upcoming sets of 2021. I left a couple of sets out just because we practically know, I don't know, very, very, very little about. I didn't want to go comparing them quite yet. But that's a high and low game. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Especially do all that stuff for more content and takes on Lego Star Wars and other stuff such as this video. Please go check out the Discord server, link in the description below. Thank you everyone for watching. Comment what your set that you are most excited for this coming year. And I'll see you all in the next video. See ya.